So let's start with the introduction. The objective of this project is to study the DDoS attack on a targeted server, and simulation will be performed by the fractal excessive traffic. So what is the objective of the DDoS? So actually, the DDoS are intended to overwhelm a website or a server with a massive request to interfere with the normal operation of the website or server. So in this project, we will do the DDoS simulation in two different ways. So one is the UDP fracking attack, the another one is the TCP fracking attack. So besides that, we also study about the attack and the defense mechanism of the DDoS, and the mechanism will be shown at next few slides. So in this slide, we will briefly describe why the DDoS is possible. DDoS is possible is because that the internet was designed with the functionality in mind rather than the security. So as we know, the TCP protocol suite is a popular data transmission protocol suite. In this protocol, it believes all the hosts engaged in the communication have no harmful intent by default. For example, the TCP protocol expects that when a host detects the packet loss due to the high traffic, they will reduce the speed at which packets are transmitted. So if a host fails to respond to congestion, so the intermediate connection to its destination may become overwhelmed fast. In this slide, we will discuss about the method of the DDoS attacks. So the first one is the internet security is extremely reliant, and the second is the challenge is identify the source of the attack, and the third is the result unlimited. The fourth is an environment which plenty of target. The last is to easier to break a system than to build them. Now we go through one by one. So the first one, the internet security is extremely reliant. So for example, the hacker can use the machine that are easy to hack, then use the machine to launch the DDoS to attack another machine. So this is what this means. So next is the challenge is in identify the source of the attack. The choice regarding which host to send the package is made at each intermediate step between the source and the destination. And the destination address is used to match all these routing options. So as a result, the packet with wrong source IP address can be generated and use this address to conduct the DDoS address. This kind of method is known as the IP spoofing. And the results are limited. This means that the DDoS is mainly targeting the bandwidth and the processing power and the storage capacity. So if the results are not enough to cope with, the machine service will be terminated. And next is the environment is the plenty of the target. So there are too many hosts and the network today. So the attacker can easily find a random host with the security vulnerability. And then they use this type of machine to launch the attack. And the last is the easier to break a system than to build them. So to think about that, a good example is to explain this one now is it's easier to destroy a car than to build one car. So to destroy a car, you just need to have a damaging weapon. So this is can to explain that it's hard to make a new protocol to specifically to defend against the DDoS. So in this slide, we will talk about the mechanism of the DDoS attack. So there are two types of attack are shown here. So one is the fracking attack, one is the logic attack. So in the fracking attack, so the fracking attack will cause an avalanche of the packet to be sent to the victim and preventing the target machine from receiving the very user request. So for example, the sync fracking attack, ICMP attack, UDP fraud attack. So these all are the fracking attack. So one is the example is like this picture. So the attacker keeps sending the request and then he prevents to receiving the to prevent to receive the valid user request. And this caused another visitor cannot establish the connection with the server. So go back to the logical attack. So the logical attack is the attacker attempt to exploit a flaw in a service to take it offline. So for example, if an attacker finds a vulnerability in an unpatched web server, and he used that vulnerability to degrade the performance of the server, so that will be a logic breaks attack. So for example, if this type of attack have the ping of deck, teardrop attack, and the LAN attack.
Hi, Mr. Nazrul. I'm Ong Yison. Today will show the simple version of the DDoS attack in the lab environment. So next we look into the specification of the device that uses the lab. First, the commander PC, we use Windows 10 Pro with the processor AMD Ryzen 5 and 16GB RAM. Then the attacker port or two, both of them is use Ubuntu 20. Then with the processors Intel Core i7 and 1GB RAM. Then the server side, we use TrueNAS 12.0 with 9GB RAM, and the monitor software we use NetData. Next, we connect to the attacker board by using SSH. Before start the simulation, we check the server side. The server side is function or not. Okay, from the server side we can see the service is run normally. Then we test on the server side. We open the server side. 192.168.1.16. Okay, then I copy one file to the local computer. Okay, successful. Copy the whole folder. I copy a whole folder. See whether can or not. This file too big already. Okay, see the transaction, the transfer is normally. Okay, now we start the simulation. See after the status of the server during the DDoS. The scenario 1 is simulate the UDP. Okay, we run. The DDoS is start. Now we simulate. From the TrueNAS side, we can see the CPU hit 100% use. The server side is now unresponsive. Then we try to copy the file from the server to the local computer. There's no responding, means that the server is down. The request cannot be performed. Now we stop the attack. Okay, after DDoS attack, then the request can perform already. Okay, now we look back to the status of the server. Open up the NetData. We check just now the DDoS simulation. From here you can see the computer resource is fully used to handling the UDP. So in scenario 1, the NAS server was down because of the computing resource is fully used to handling the DDoS attack. Next, we go to the scenario 2. In scenario 2, we use command. Command is used to attack the server by TCP SYN. Okay, now we start. Okay, now we monitor the server down. Okay, we now try can copy file to the local PC or not. Also same like scenario 1, no responding. Okay, now we stop the DDoS. Okay, the server is recovered. Now we're looking back to the system. A large number of the TCP connection and requests will make the server network resource fully load. So the server unable to attempt new requests, and it just now it got test already. PC cannot take file from the server. For scenario 3, we using the command is simulate the TCP ACK attack. Okay, now we try to transfer file to the local PC from server. Server hang again. Okay, now we stop with DDoS and look back to the net data. See the condition of the server during the DDoS attack. Okay, we can see from the net data the network traffic during the DDoS status. So the TCP server has been forced to allocate the computing resource to process the every arrival ACK packet. So when the transport layer of the server is being attacked. Okay, my presentation ends here. Thank you, sir. This one is the methodology. There are several methodologies which used in this project. The first one is through NAS 12. This is an open source storage operating system and the most efficient solution for managing and sharing data over a network. The second one is Windows 10. This is a Microsoft operating system for personal computer, tablets, embedded devices, and Internet of Things devices. The third one is Ubuntu version 20.04 LTS. LTS is an abbreviation for long-term support. A new Ubuntu desktop and Ubuntu server will release every 6 months. The next one is NetData. NetData is an open source monitoring agent that collects thousands of hardware and software metrics for any physical or virtual system. The following one is SSH, which is a cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecure network. And the last one will be the hashping-3, and this is an open source packet generator and analyzer for the TCP IP protocol. Now we will be discussed on the defenses of DDoS attack. The first one is the filtering. The filtering can preventing the network from becoming an unwitting aggressor. The second one is firewall. It can accept or reject protocols, ports, or IP addresses. The third one is anti-DDoS HTTP trolling. By DDoS attack from being launched either purposefully or unintentionally by website pages and extension running within Chrome. And the fourth one is black holding or sync holding. This can block all traffic and redirects it to a dark opening where it is disposed of. Next one is router and firewalls. It can arrange to stop basic pings attack by filtering non-essential protocol and can also stop invalid IP addresses. And the next one is servers. The servers can proper configuration of server application is critical in minimizing the effect of a DDoS attack. And the next one is intrusion detection system, particularly recognition ability so that will perceive when legitimate conventions are being utilized as an assault vehicle. And the last one will be the DDoS mitigation appliance. Disinfecting traffic or assemble DDoS relief are useful into gadgets utilized essentially for different capacities. As a conclusion, DDoS attack has been proven to be an effective way to disrupt web services. Despite advances in mitigation and prevention techniques, DDoS attack will remain a constant threat to organizations, large and small. Thank you.